after you bake a cake, what do? You put icing on it. You're not allowed to eat it, but you can put icing on it. And that's exactly what we're gonna do here with the flies. The bench presses the cake, this is the icing. What we're gonna do is actually do the flies, and we're gonna actually sculpt the chest. A lot of people do the flies improperly as well because they're not arching the back. What they're doing is they're actually doing this, letting that absorb into the back. Everybody wants to know why their traps are so big. It's because the tension of the day is there, and then you throw all your weightlifting on top of it. But I'm going to show you how to do them properly. Use a manageable weight. You don't need a lot of weight for this exercise. Okay, now my back is arched, the weights are together, not touching, disturbing everybody in the gym. And I'm going to bend my elbows ever so slightly and come on down very slowly. I'm going to exhale, let the air out, and move the weights up very slowly. Back is arched throughout the entire movement. Weights are under control at all times. I'm getting a stretch, I feel the stretch, and then I resume moving the weights up. The chest is engaged and flexed. At the top of the movement, the weight is never leaving my chest. My hands are relaxed. I'm actually pulling these weights together. I'm not pushing with my shoulders. I'm thinking about pulling the weights together, pretending that there's a magnet on each dumbbell and they're being pulled together. Exhale. Inhale, expand the chest. Back arched. Feel a stretch, stop. If you want to torture yourself for a little bit, you can hold it here and move slowly. Magnets pulling the weights together. Chest rippling. Feeling good, feeling strong. Again, doing as many reps as possible on the first set. If there's anything left for the second set, I'm going to do the second set. But I'm more concerned about this first attempt to get these weights engaged, to get the chest moving, to get the blood pumping, slow and methodically. Again, sets are attempts. Repetitions are how many times I'm doing them per set. We don't count, we just go, go, go. That's how we train optimally. Okay, that's enough. Oh, sorry. Incline presses. Now, we're gonna put a little bit of mass on the top of the chest, right up here, right underneath the clavicle. It's a very difficult part of the body to build, but the only way it's gonna grow is if we stimulate it. Now, you're probably fried from the other exercises, but that's okay because this is a very specific movement. We're actually just trying to make some kind of a connection mentally with the top of the chest. And that can be achieved by, again, laying back and arching the back slightly, like this. And we're going to bring the dumbbells together and push them up like this. Very similar to our bench press before. The only difference is that we're not pushing this way with a bar. We're actually going to be bringing the weights together. We're going to keep the elbows bent throughout the entire movement. So even as we extend, we're never going to straighten out like this. We're going to be moving like this. And by virtue of the angle of the bench, we're going to actually be hitting this part of the chest. Keep the hands relaxed. Inhale on the way down. Exhale on the way up. Back arched slightly. Moving slowly. Making a connection with the top of the chest. Weights not touching each other. And trying to control them on the way down. Pushing up, exhaling, making a connection, trying to actually flex the chest independent from the weight. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's almost like art. You know it when you see it, but I'm going to try to tell you how to do it. Have you ever flexed your muscles in the mirror? You ever go like this? somebody at the lunch table in high school ever say, make a muscle? They used to do it to me all the time. Well, how do you make a connection? How do you flex your muscles? Well, everybody seems to do it with the biceps, and that's real easy because we actually are just pulling all the time. With the legs, it's very easy because all we have to do is try to extend as far as we can. How do you make a connection with the chest? Well, I would suggest arching the back and moving your arm as straight as you possibly can. Now, this is okay because you don't have any weights. Move your arm as straight as you possibly can, and then move your arm in the opposite direction. See if you can do that. See if you can make some kind of a connection with your chest. Even if you have to do this and then this. Even if you have to do this in the mirror. If you can make those connections, those little connections, and then you add the stimulus of the weights, and actually what I'm doing at the same time that I'm training is I'm making those little connections at the same time. I'm trying to take all the tension away from every other area other than the area I'm focusing on. At the contraction of the exercise, which means the top of the exercise is where the muscles are flexed, I'm making these little mental connections with the muscles, trying to sink all the energy in my body right into that particular area. And that's what I'm doing with the dumbbells. So I'm moving them up, and at the same time, I'm making the connection with them. Sure, I'm using the weights, but at the same time, I'm thinking about bringing this together, actually more than I actually am bringing it together. I'm making this connection, and that's true bodybuilding. That's really how to develop very fine muscles, strong definition, and a nice balance and sculpted looking physique.